seeing Hody out there today, I mean, looking at last year, it kind of seemed like there was really just a bad week and a half in the middle of a 6-month season. How do you kind of assess how he stood at the end of last year, and how do you view him going into 25?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you look at the totality of the whole year, it was a good year. I mean, first half of the season, I mean, I thought he was one of the better leverage relievers in the game. He had a tough 10 days, and because of it, it skewed his numbers, and then he missed a little bit of time and then bounced back. But overall, I thought there were a lot of positives.
Whenever you have the exit meetings with him, does anyone want to hear, hey, if it wasn't for those 10 days, it'd be great?
I think you have to talk about it. You have to acknowledge, that there's really good, and then there's times where you struggle, and then we got to figure out when those times we struggle, how we minimize that.
With the wrist issues that have given him trouble the last couple of years, do you guys think that you're at all in a better spot here coming in the camp of, hey, we might be able to manage those better, or have learned, I guess, from the last couple of years?
I think the word learned, I think we've learned from how to manage it, and hopefully he's learned, when it starts to flare up, maybe if we need to give it a day or two so it doesn't get to the point where it becomes an IL situation. Anytime you have an injury, the awareness of it, I think, is extremely helpful.
Kind of how have you seen Thomas, Bubba, Braxton kind of interact? It seems like they're a really kind of close-knit group, and they kind of pick each other's brains and things like that come up.
Yeah, I think not only that group, but even the young guys that we've had come through the minor leagues, and Jones and Nicolas and that group, they spend a lot of time together, and it's interesting to see the bond that they hold. And I think it's really important as we continue to funnel guys through the big leagues, when they get to the big leagues, that they feel like they have a support system, because as we've talked about, the big leagues is hard, and when you have people that you're comfortable with and have relationships with there, it's important in that integration.
Shelton, you mentioned a guy like Kyle Nicolas. What do you envision for him this year, considering he took some big steps last year?
Yeah, I really like where his delivery's at. I know he's worked really hard at it. He looks a little bit more fluid. I thought he had a really good day today, and we've seen the stuff. He has the ability to be a leverage back-end reliever with how good his stuff is. We just have to make sure that there's consistency to it. And sometimes that comes when you're next year in the big leagues. Your rookie year, that's a challenge. It's hard to stay that consistent, but I think that's what we're looking for there.
Have you seen a maturity in him about the way he's approaching his work? I know he had talked about the challenges of a full major league season last year and the toll it took on his body as well.
Yeah, I think anybody that goes through a full major league season, and it's one of the things that we need guys to finish the year. We need them to feel what it's like to pitch in September and October, because as you continue to do that, you have a better idea of how you have to train in the off season and then how you have to take care of your body during the season.